Hi, so it was really hard to watch these videos as it forces me to confront the dark history of the United States, and it draws a lot of parallels between injustice then and injustice today. So, in the two videos, the most prevalent form of discrimination was institutional. The Japanese internment camps were an example of this, as the U.S. institution, as the institution of the U.S. government acted in discriminatory ways towards Japanese Americans. The institution has power and it uses power to subordinate a minority group with less power. So this was due to a fear of Japanese Americans at the time of World War II. It was mass hysteria leading to the dehumanization of a minority group. So, institutional discrimination was also prevalent in the deadly deception events, as once again the U.S. government, through the Public Health Service, used its power um, to subordinate and dehumanize members of a minority group. So more broadly, the medical establishment as a whole acted discriminatorily all along the way, allowing the study to continue despite withholding treatment, and especially at the end when the board of doctors reviewed the experiment, only one doctor spoke out and said that it should be stopped. The rest of them thought it should continue based on the fact that they made it that far. Might as well finish it. Um, so, also finally, the mass media acted discriminatorily by not publishing the story of the study when it was sent to them. All of these institutions used their power to discriminate and silence members of minority group who are being treated unjustly. So, structural discrimination was harder to see in these videos, but I think the argument can be made that the study to treat syphilis was, as foundation, structural discrimination, as the intent was to find a cure for syphilis that was to benefit black and white people, that the intent was neutral as regards to race. However, it was still discrimination because it caused more harm to black people, namely the black men who went without treatment. Now, the reason that I think the deadly deception situation could be structural or institutional racism, or sorry, discrimination, is based on the intent. So the reading talks about how structural discrimination is based on gender or race neutral intent. So if you believe that if you believe the white doctors when they say that intent was race neutral and the intent was to solve syphilis for all, then you could say that the case was structural discrimination. However, if you believe Fred Gray, that the study was, as he said, racially motivated and racially conceived, then it can be categorized as institutional racism because it was not race neutral in nature. So, as far as individual racism, that was not super present in these videos because everyone acting in a discriminatory way uh, were they were acting on behalf of an institution. Uh, However, the argument could be made that these members acting as parts of these institutions acted discriminatorily, were individually discriminatory in their lives outside of the institution. So, because institutions are made up of people and their beliefs, so when they join the institution, their individual discriminatory views continue to perpetuate the practices of the institutions they are part of. Um, so yeah, I learned a lot from this exercise. So